Welcome back to another episode of Stoppage Time TV. We're live back in the flesh, live and direct. You already know where it is. We've got Edgar Davids on my side and Andy Cole on the left. I've got next to me, got a legend, a Congolese legend. Was Lasala Diarra from Congo?
Nah.
Give me Makalele. We've got Makalele. Got Merv back. The last time we had Merv, we had some technical difficulties, so we're doing it proper. And you got your boy JJ cut your hair as well. But listen, man, hold tight the streets. The streets are saying a lot. But before we go into the streets, hold tight the man them in the cells. Bang your doors. If you're watching Stoppage Time, hold tight the man in the bodega. Hold tight you. Bang your doors. Hold tight the man in the village that are watching this. Listen, bear man watch this, you know. I can't lie to you. Bear man watch this. The reach is mad. Hold tight Somalia as well. Your episode is numbers. Listen, man. Bang your doors. Somalia land in Somaliland. I'll bang your doors if you want.
Cross borders, regardless.
What, international?
International, baby.
No.
We international.
But listen, let's get into it, man. There's only one place to start. Come, I'm gonna hand the floor to you. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna chime into direct conversation because you're gonna waffle, but
Gonna start with a bit of oh shit! Like to say shock. We say United, yeah? You saying shocks? You not shots? Hey, we're drinking today, boy. Hey, we're drinking. You're not taking no shots.
Nah, pass over to the way.
Come on, man. That's for me. Just
Where's the shot, bro?
woo!
Channel.
What a week! What a week! Listen, what a week! I'm full up with excitement right now. This week, I'm telling you, like,
hey, don't
listen.
Though. Show the back.
This week, I thought, listen, Ole, you're finished. You're done. Like I couldn't believe that we end up walking away from this week with 6 points. Spurs. Jose Mourinho came. He thought he can come Old Trafford, and what did you think was gonna happen? Listen, came Old Trafford, we crashed him, and I'm not even trying to. No pun intended. No pun intended. Crashed him. No pun intended. But I couldn't believe it. Like honestly, I'm buzzing this week, man. I'm buzzing. So it's gonna be a great episode for me.
But let's go into where do you want to start? Let's start with the derby. Because I think in terms of that performance, we were talking about in the group and whatnot. I mean, what performance? Credit where it's due. He's played 2 games and we've said it, in the big games, United come alive. United actually come alive. Like
we come alive in the big games. I mean,
like in
when
terms
you
of teams you beat this season, Chelsea, Leicester, Spurs, those big teams, you got to draw against Liverpool.
Even Arsenal.
And even both
Arsenal, they pulled it back.
They got 2 late equalisers. Arsenal and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Arsenal and Liverpool got late equalisers.
And it's like, for what it is, it's, I don't know. I think in terms of after the first game, for the second game to go like that as well, I think what topped it up for me was when Cheryl put the article out about who's going to decide the game, McTominay or De Bruyne.
Bruce in the Puds.
And then it
The
came
game
to
was
life.
decided.
It's like, you know what? You can't, it's gotten to a point where you cannot write off United in big games. I think if Ole's done anything, he's definitely made these guys realize that, listen, when it's OT, when it's big occasions, you've got to remember that we are a big club. And I think he probably does well at that because he can talk about his experiences in terms of, I've done it at big moments here. It means a lot. What he needs to focus on now is you have to kind of restore that feeling to every single game, because I find it very unacceptable that you can beat these teams. And then if you look at the L's, the L's they don't make good sight.
I mean, look, when you look at United's team, United's team lack quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We lack quality, so like all round, and we lack creativity and be able to build attacks, right? So when we're playing against these big teams, we set ourselves up very simply. You come onto us, we're gonna counter. We're devastating in the counter. We could have got 4-5 against City in the first half. Like, we are devastating on the counter. Daniel James,
Rashford's chance that he missed.
Martial, Rashford. You're not catching up with them. If they're on the move,
Lingard, man.
yeah, Lingard did well the other day.
Well. He gets a lot of stick.
If their man are on the move, you're not catching them. It's as simple as that. So in the big games, we're good enough, because also in the big games, Maguire and Lindelof can play in a deep block. So far this season, when they've been playing a little bit on a higher, we've been getting exposed a little bit. But when they're playing on a deep block, they're both very good defenders. You know what I'm trying to say? Maguire in a deep block is a fantastic defender.
But like you said, in the big games, it benefits
do
you
that.
not playing on the counter.
Exactly.
Playing against the smaller teams, I think that's where you lot struggle. Is
You've got to
you lot have
play.
to create them
Yeah.
chances.
Exactly.
And I don't think you've got the midfield. I think
quality.
There's only
the
one
interesting thing will be
creative.
is how you started these last couple of big games for me has been mad. Like the football you lot have been playing, it's been crazy. Even like creatively going forward, I think some of your midfielders have been doing.
I'm seeing Fred in the
when
new
Pogba
light.
gets back
Fred's
fit
doing well.
now, I think it could be a massive addition. I
Yeah.
think. I'll be real with you. I don't know. Give Ole January as well.
Yeah.
I think see what he can add there as well. I don't think the season is a write-off for United just yet.
It's
I
not.
mean,
You're
it's only 5 points.
behind us.
5 points,
It's only 5 points.
behind Chelsea.
The way
Yeah,
we got to
5
look at
points.
it, the way we got to look at it is that look, obviously those results have 100% kept Ole in the job. Let's be real, yeah.
It is.
So
it's giving him like
he's giving him
to
like
the end of the
I want
season.
you
I
to-
would
to
say.
end the season. So
I want you to, because there's always discussion about Ole in, Ole out and whatnot, but I think there's a bigger picture here in terms of, and I think that's probably where you're going now. You have a situation where he's trying to play, we've always said it, he's trying to play with young footballers. Understand that. You've also mentioned as well, when Fergie came in, he didn't get off to a good start. You've also mentioned that in terms of the way United want to be, there's a certain DNA. But what the future holds is a big question now, because you have to trust him in January now.
Yeah.
And I don't think trusting him is the issue. You've got to look at the board and what the board have done prehistorically.
I think the way the board have to look, the way it is, the board have to get the checkbook out now and support him. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've never had an issue with Ole's ideologies. Like what he wants for Man United is great. What he wants, what he's saying, obviously it's quite a lot of like what Fergie kind of like, you know what I mean? And what did that do for us?
Yeah.
That was great. So I've never had issue with his ideologies. It's about, can he coach them and can he
I
implement
think it's
them?
the
I'm not too
inexperience.
sure.
Sometimes
You know what
it's
I mean?
when you hit a rough patch, people look to the inexperience he
Yeah.
has and think,
It's-
will he be able to get us out of this situation? But in all honesty, I think if he's given the time to, as you said, the ideology is right. I mean, the 3 signings he's made so far, James,
Are
Wan-Bissaka,
decent signings.
Maguire, have been decent.
Yeah.
So if he adds a couple more decent ones,
Yeah.
I don't think you lot are that far off, like being a top 4 team consistently again.
It's funny you mentioned that, because we're not even going to Chelsea now, but you mentioned about the inexperience. And I didn't want to admit last week, but you've got a point. Lampard's in a sticky spell now.
Yeah.
He hasn't had the experience where he's had to overcome
To
that
turn
at a
it
big
round,
club.
yeah.
And it's now you've got to make decisions with January coming up about what you want going forward. But on Oli, you said January's coming. What do United need?
Look, United, obviously, we
Midfield.
need creativity. You know what I mean? We need a midfield. We need players to get into the midfield. We need so we can actually build it. These small teams. If you look at Man United's next couple of fixtures, Everton, I think Norwich might be in there. This is our toughest run in the season. Spurs, City, and that is not our toughest run
Because they let us
but
play.
like evidence shows that we can do all right against these teams. Our toughest run is against these baby teams. We lost to Newcastle, we lost to Palace, we lost to Bournemouth. So this is actually going to be our toughest run of the season, where we actually have to take the initiative. So we definitely need to be adding in January centre midfielder, and I'll say a striker. I like Martial, but I still don't know if he's the real deal. I'm not going to lie. I don't really know if he's going to be able to be 25 goals a season striker. So I'll still get a striker in.
As long as your boy keeps banging him in at the minute.
Yeah, I mean,
I
listen,
think,
I don't
like-
need to talk about him too much.
Listen,
yeah,
No,
yeah,
but
talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
let's
Talk
highlight.
about
Let's
it.
highlight. So I'll
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, I
It's,
don't need to say too much.
Talk
Second
about it.
time he's got to 10 Premier League goals.
Wait, just
this early.
there. So the whole, he ain't scored 10. That's all people were running at. So that agenda's dead now.
It's
Yeah,
dead. It's the
right.
second time he's
that's
got
put
there.
to bed.
What's
next?
Yeah, okay, thanks.
He scored.
What's next?
He scored 7 and 8. He's only failed to score in 2 of those games. If you look at his big game record in the Premier League, in terms of in general, he's got 5 against Chelsea. No, I think it's just big 6 teams in general. 5 against Chelsea, 3 against City, 3 against Liverpool, 3 against Spurs, 2 against Arsenal.
Mate,
You mentioned how what's it called?
that's
You
that's
don't need
quality.
Martial and whatnot. It is quality, and the thing is, when we went back a while ago in terms of we were saying that Ole's going to kill this guy if he keeps paying him. He needs rest and whatnot. He can't continue to do a carry job. Let's call it what it is. He cannot continue to.
What
carry
you're
United.
witnessing right now in Rashford is evolution, mate. It's evolution. Rashford's becoming the big
He's
dog.
becoming a man.
He's becoming,
Someone
and
said
listen, he's going into these games. It's not. He's going into these games and he's running the game. I watched Man United and City last match. Yeah, in the first half, Rashford looked like the best player on the pitch. On a pitch where David Silva, KDB, Sterling, Bernardo Silva, all them men are there. He's a superstar in the making, and this is his breakthrough season.
streets
where
are
he's
saying
gonna
it.
take it over.
That-
I'm telling you
that's
right
one
now.
thing I
let me
will
just say,
agree on.
off the back of what you just said, like
Yeah.
when I watched Rashford yesterday, there's something about top players that they don't delegate responsibility.
Yeah.
Like they take it upon
They take it
themselves.
upon
And that
themselves.
was the first, maybe not the first, but it was one of the games that I actually saw him
something
pick
clicked.
up the ball.
Something's clicked.
He could have sent it wide, but he said, "No, I'm going to drive
Something's
at them."
clicked.
He drove through, and then your man, Bernardo Silva took him down. So that's him, as Cam said, he's accepting the responsibility. They sold Lukaku, they sent Sanchez away, and Ole said, "You're the guy who's going to get us the goals," and you're seeing that in him. He's like, he's rising to the occasion.
And I think having more youngsters in and around the Man United squad has actually helped him take that.
Well, he's the experienced pro out of all of them. If you think about it,
he now looks like the more experienced one out of them.
Do you think Pogba not being in the team? Because I reckon, as Cam also said, our toughest run, United's toughest run, is coming up.
Yeah.
I don't think the hard games for Manchester United are Liverpool at home, Tottenham at home, City away. You don't have to fire up United for those games. Yeah. The game, and plus those are top teams who consider themselves better than United. So they're going to attack United and try to beat them, and that plays into Ole's tactics in terms of the deep block, and then you counter-attack with pace. Whereas when you're playing, I don't know, what's our next name, Everton or Sheffield United, they're not trying to attack you. They're gonna defend deep, and they're gonna say, okay, you guys come and break us down. And that's when you need the Pogbas. That's when you need creativity from the midfield to find the pass. Which, let's be real, the likes of McTominay, Fred, that's not really their specialty.
It's not there, yeah.
But with the space that the top teams afford United, the counter-attack, that first half yesterday was ridiculous.
It was crazy.
Consistency against the smaller teams is now what will count.
100%.
Because, like you said, just going a couple of weeks back to the Sheffield United game, if you remember, the team was playing like they were strangers for 80 minutes of the game. Like, it was like, what the fuck? So now all of a sudden for them to turn around against the big games, it's like, cool, they've done it. Let's just see more consistency.
You need a level out consistency.
100%. It's like with Rashford even, like you've hit the nail on the head. It's an evolution season. He's hit 10 now. Let's keep the consistency going because he's hit 10 this early now as well. What can he do by the end of the season?
It's definitely
what I'm saying.
On Rashford quickly, do you know what we have to give credit to? It's crazy, but sometimes all of this nonsense that goes on in social media and whatnot, it probably, think about it, last season he was compared to Mbappe, This season people are comparing him to Tammy Abraham and whatnot.
People that are not even close to his level. So I'm telling you now.
Is that Mbappe included as well?
No, not Mbappe. Tammy Abraham and them man are not close to Rashford. I'm telling you now.
We won't have to get into it now.
Let's be real, man. Let's be real. He's not. Tammy Abraham's not. Who else is they're comparing him to Josh King? Like, come on, let's behave.
So I disagree with that comparison.
Let's behave.
The Josh King comparison.
On what I'm trying to say is, in terms of if you look at him now, he's got to a point where he came to the game really early. He smashed it and whatnot. People had high expectations and whatnot. And he's got to a point where he's realized, you know what?
Jose killed him. It's as simple as that.
Probably you could say the same. You could say the same with Martial.
Killed him.
Same thing with Martial.
Bro, listen. Look at Rashford's record without Jose to with Jose. Like, he's already scored more goals without him. Like 12 months, Jose Mourinho killed him. It's simple as that. I already knew this was Rashford.
But what I'm trying to say is,
I already knew this was the player.
This is what
gets on my nerves.
But what I'm trying to say, on this point, it comes to a point where he's probably realized, you know what, man can't take me for idiot anymore. I have to prove, and that's what all good players have to do. It comes to a point where you have to prove that you're worth.
Does Ole get any of the credit?
No, 100%.
That's one thing. Because he's the only manager who I've seen him.
I'll say LVG
playing out wide, and he's actually under every other manager, every United fan, you say, why is he playing out wide? Whereas Ole has now made it.
Well, Southgate tried it.
Southgate has done it to an extent, but it's like what he plays once every couple months.
You know what I mean? Credit because Ole, Rashford said, I think it was today or yesterday, he said that when he misses a chance, he don't care no more. Remember when he missed that pressure? Remember when he missed that chance? Jose Mourinho turned to the crowd and started staring like, what am I meant to do? The guy's a joke, man.
And that's a big thing.
That's why you see how motivated he was to play against Spurs. He ran the show the whole game.
And he even posted after.
That's all that game was. That game was a big fuck you.
He tweeted after. He said the doubters spurred me on. And
that's an
indirect to Mourinho. That was a shot at Jose.
100%.
But let me just say, we can't move away from the Manchester derby without talking about AWB.
100%.
Have to talk about Wan-Bissaka.
I have to, for everything that people have done, and this is where we have to be very sensible stuff. Aaron.
Remember on Stoppage Time. Remember on Stoppage Time, one-on-ones and that, when I said Wan-Bissaka's a much better defender than Trent, right? When I said defensively, he's a much better defender. You can't even compare it. And people had the cheek to argue. Now, remember when I said Trent had a good game against Sterling? Everyone's like, oh, Sterling ripped him. I dare anyone say that Sterling had a good game against Wan-Bissaka. Please.
Wan-Bissaka is probably the best defensive fullback
easily
in Europe. I'm trying to think of one. Give me one. I'm trying to think of one.
Defensive fullback. He's up there.
I'm not saying going forward assisting, like defensively, when you set up your team to not concede goals and to lock down your flank, He's the best.
1v1.
Trent Alexander-Arnold is a phenomenal footballer. He's like playing with De Bruyne at right back. That's how good he is, right?
De Bruyne's playing like Trent nowadays
But
himself.
defensively,
But
Trent,
going forward, he still leaves a lot to be admired.
No,
Yes,
no,
of course,
but the
of
thing
course.
is,
leaves
this
us
is where-
AWB is not an
the end
offensive.
product
He's not an
ain't
offensive
there.
but
footballer.
this is
He's
where
talking about defensively.
I'm talking about
what his
the
job was
defensive.
yesterday. What his job was
did the
yesterday.
game ain't one way.
he
Yeah.
excelled. He
Lock
excelled.
off.
He
Locked
excelled.
It was.
So-
It was.
But you have to remember, right? In terms of footballers, if you look at any team, you have to play to the strengths of your team and individuals.
And the
That's like what you
opposition.
said, and the opposition.
And the
It's like
opposition.
what you said in terms of low block defending is what Maguire sleeps off. You know, I can be low, I can win headers and whatnot. Cool. Another example I want to give you here, and we'll get into Chelsea. I should not see Kurt Zouma trying to play the ball at the back because he cannot play a pass on the ground without it bubbling. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You play to your players' strengths. Wan-Bissaka is a defender. All he lives for is slide tackling, repossessions,
100%.
Blocks,
winning the ball,
interception.
blocks.
But his,
In games like Man City though, against them, he's gonna look like this. He's gonna look brilliant in these games where he has to defend a lot. But
That's
the
his
games
job.
you know where United have to go forward and create,
I agree.
That's where you lot are
Dead.
gonna struggle.
Of course,
now
now
you lot are
can
gonna
I-
look at Wan-Bissaka and
but
say,
can I add
"Yo,
something
we
on
don't
that?
need the
But-
slide
but
tackles.
can I add
Deliver
something?
across."
Yeah.
But can I
Can
add,
he do
can
it?
I add something on that?
I
With a
agree.
team
He
like
needs to add
United,
that part to his
we
game
have
now.
your quick forwards and whatnot, and you have someone like Pogba
facilitates it.
coming back, and you have someone like McTominay that can depossess the ball and give it to a Pogba. I don't think the way United plays necessarily needs a Wan-Bissaka crossing the ball because Rashford's not that type of striker or person that needs to be winning
dominating
things and
the air.
whatnot.
Wicked
He's not
game,
doing
though.
that.
That's
You
a
need
wicked
to go
game.
in behind. Maybe a ball over the top, maybe, but the thing is, you know what? With a bit of coaching, you can develop the
He
ability
can't develop that. No,
to do a
100%.
half
He's
and
only
half
21,
ball.
22.
Now this is where it's going to be interesting come the summer when the squad's announced for England, because I'm of the opinion that in a major tournament, when England are playing the top nations, they're going to concede possession. England are not going to have more possession than a France, than a Spain, Germany, these teams that keep the ball so well. So when you know that the majority of the thing you're going to be doing throughout the game is to defend, then I'm sorry, Wan-Bissaka has to start. If you know that you're going to have an Mbappe or a Neymar or a Sané on your flank, you need somebody who you can trust to be defensively solid in that
That's
position.
true, but
AWB,
can I interject
But
is-
you know, England are walking into into the Euros. Yeah, a lot of the foreign nations are looking at England as one of the strongest. You know that. So if England are gonna have to be a team that are gonna have to be on the front foot. So we shouldn't necessarily.
be
If we
counter.
have,
No, 100%.
I would go with Trent in the Euros because we want to be on the front foot. We don't want to go in the mentality that we're playing against Mbappe.
I
I think
I'll
it's who you play
I'll
against.
add on to that.
against-
Yeah,
I
I
hear
agree with that.
You
but-
don't want to move your defense about. Too
Would you
much,
fancy?
no.
Would you fancy Trent against a Sané fully fit and raring to go on his flank?
Yeah, Mbappe will be tough.
No,
for
but
him.
hear this.
Hey, and
You know,
Wan-Bissaka's
this is-
locked Sané as
But
well.
this
what
is
I'm
where-
saying. This
But
is what
this
I'm
is where the
saying.
compromise is.
Oh,
Let's
wait.
remember, we're talking about England, right? We're talking about England, and I'm gonna say something cool. Henderson, he did an amazing ball over the
Boy,
weekend and whatnot.
listen,
Amazing
give him his
ball,
dues.
amazing ball. Give him his dues and whatnot. But if you look at
See the
in
free
terms
kick
of
at the end as well.
mad thing. But if you look at the creative outlet of England, that is where Trent plays a massive part. Massive part, because you can't look at mid. Oh, what? We're gonna bring John Joe Silva in now because he scored 3 goals.
Listen, Trent
Like
is a
England
midfielder.
but that's the England need creative outlet. So the thing is, yeah, I get in some games you might say this and that, but if you need creative outlet, Trent has to be playing because that's what he provides.
How do you drop Trent? You can't
No,
drop Trent.
of course.
Well, no,
he's phenomenal. Listen,
don't say that
I'm
because
not-
in big games, what happens?
Listen,
every big game that
but
Liverpool
not
have played,
every big game.
not
If you
every
play
big game, that's a
Wan-Bissaka,
push, that's an agenda.
bro,
But
the
most
maj-
big games, what are we seeing? He's playing right back.
And it's not
There you
working
go.
out. for
Now,
them.
now hear this, right? The
No,
majority.
but I'm just that's the facts, right?
The majority of the
That's the fact.
chances
He's
that
playing right back.
the majority of the chances Liverpool concede all come down Trent's flank. I don't know how no one sees
No,
it.
you're
when
right.
they won at
You're
Villa,
right.
when Mane scored the winner at Villa
You're
a couple
right.
weeks ago, they should have been 2-0 down. He had a howler, the guy's gone in and missed. Son hit the crossbar at Anfield to go 1-0 up. So a lot of the mistakes, Bernardo Silva, his goal came down Trent's flank.
Against
A
Chelsea.
lot of the goals
He had
that
a goal this and
Loud.
that.
all of like a lot of the chances, they don't come down Robertson's side, they come down Trent Alexander-Arnold's side. Because he's not naturally a midfield, a
but
wing back.
team-
He's a
but yeah,
midfielder
'cause
who
teams
came
are gonna
into the
target
team
that.
at right back. So he even plays that.
Yeah.
His ability on the ball. The goal that they scored against Everton. Who was it? Shaqiri's goal.
Yeah,
That
ping-
spray. I looked at
pingers
that. I
galore.
said, "This is almost unfair. This guy.
It's a cheat code.
It's like playing De Bruyne at right back. He
Yeah,
picks
it's
up
a
the
cheat
ball.
code.
He pings it 60 yards, and they're up the field. Mane slides in Shaqiri, and they're 2-0
He's
up.
too influential. You can't drop him.
Of course, but I just think
many
defensively,
assists
when you come up against the elite talents, Trent at right back.
Would you say he's a system player? Would you say he's a system player?
Look,
I think you're talking about England the creativity lacking in England. I think Liverpool is even a bigger example because their creativity comes solely from sources.
Flanks, yeah.
Comes from the flanks, and it comes from Firmino dropping from a false 9 position
Yeah.
and linking up the play. Bar that, their midfielders are workhorses. Henderson, Wijnaldum.
But Henderson's
Milner.
doing a little flavour
But
now,
he's not
though,
going
man.
to ping it 60 yards and slide someone in.
Trent
will.
The pass he did on the weekend was... The
It's
pass he
the-
did on the is a
They
bit...
keep
it's
saying
not-
that
listen,
Henderson
I'll
ain't
be
creative
I'll be
enough,
honest,
but
yeah,
every week
Henderson
I
back
see
in the
what
day,
he's
yeah,
doing.
listen, I beg all of you. Henderson back in the day when he's at Sunderland and whatnot, go and see when he used to be a little like with the spiky hair and whatnot. And then he said something mad. Thank God. Go and look at what he was doing. He actually used to be that. And I get like even look at Wijnaldum when he goes to these man.
People
he's
undersell.
a different player.
People undersell. Undersell what
Wijnaldum
players
is a
are
goal
capable
getter.
of.
He'll
man.
get you goals. He'll get you close to double figures a
But
season.
I'm saying,
But I mean,
in terms of the system for Liverpool, they it's almost like they compromise. Even look at
It's
Naby Keita.
perfect.
Naby Keita used to be like a box to box.
100%.
But now they, for some reason, it's not red reason because it works. They have to compromise their
It's
style.
perfect. Their style,
Yeah.
the workmanlike midfield, the creativity from the flanks.
Who's
Firmino
this?
dropping
Fuck
deep
Liverpool,
where
man.
you don't know how to do
I
anything.
don't even know why we're talking about Liverpool right now.
They're,
Like,
f-
I'm
they're the best.
baffled
They're the
why we're
best
talking
team in
about
Europe.
Liverpool, fam.
They're the best team in Europe. You have to call it. You have to call it what it is. If Liverpool come up against anyone right now, you'd be insane to back against to go against them. Like you'd fancy them against anyone, and that includes Bayern Munich and Barcelona.
I'll give Barca over
Liverpool
one leg,
are
not
the
two
best team in Europe right now. They're phenomenal, bro.
But listen-
Mane, people need to start respecting him because
Listen,
he's insane.
I don't do if buts and maybes. I only do absolutes. That young man is a legend. Because I can't lie, man is killing it. But listen, let's go into other topics. Chelsea lost to Everton. I have to give you your dues. You did highlight something, but I went to go and do my Googles and my research. Ever since you went to this 4-2-3-1, nah, it's not it.
It ain't it.
Jorge has to come back. Jorge has to come back.
Who?
That,
Bro, why?
Jorginho has to
Jorginho.
That third goal comes from a goalkeeper knowing that he can't trust his centre back,
Yeah.
trying to play it in front of the centre back so the centre back can go forward, and the centre back just being clueless. If Jorginho is there, he usually collects the ball and starts
sweep the
dictating
ball,
and
yeah.
whatnot. And the thing is, I understand because in terms of your team, you don't need someone like that. But in terms of what Chelsea have become now, he's so important to just tick along. He's a metronome. He just keeps it going. He keeps it fluid. And anytime he's not in that squad, the centre backs, I think I saw something like 40% of Christian's passes were to Zuma.
I think a lot of
I
your
saw
goals,
another thing. Christensen's, we can't defend. We actually
It's
can't
not
defend.
even defending. I'll be real with you.
Christensen,
Your keeper.
no, listen,
Like we need to
75
start
million.
looking at
Making
this.
100%.
weird
70
decisions.
million.
I'll tell you
and
what,
he's
the biggest
been
thing was,
beaten at
yeah,
near post, free
people were
kicks.
saying that he was going to be the next De Gea, right? And the thing is, De Gea was shaky, but De Gea, you could see the quality. The issue with Kepa now is, right, it's
You
not
guys
even
like
the
Kepa, by the way. Let's
I
not
do.
act like you
And
guys
the thing
don't
is,
like
I
Kepa.
still do,
You
but
know
my
when they
issue
trying to
is,
change it, they
my
like
issue
Kepa,
is,
man.
where is
They
the,
liked him.
you know,
They
this
liked him.
season now, there's not anything with De Gea. You saw the improvement. He got bulky, he got strong, and he was a different man. I'm not seeing
Kepa's
it
gotten
from
worse.
Kepa. I'm not seeing it, and I can't even say maybe it's because he's scared he's got rubbish defense in him. There's just certain things I expect a
The thing
goalkeeper
is,
of,
it's
a
like,
top,
yeah.
of a top 6 club to do. Not even top 4, top
100%.
6. I just expect you. There's
Like,
things that Tom
when you've
Heaton
got,
does.
when you've got a shaky
Tom-
defense,
there's
your
stuff that
keeper
Ben
is meant to be
Foster-
the one that
Bro,
saves
there's
you
stuff
points.
that Ben Foster does, yeah, and I'm like, listen, why can't Kepa do this? Just basics. Shot save and tell the defenders, wake up. You need to
Yeah.
win the next challenge.
Yeah.
Bro, it's not hard to tell those defenders to wake up, man. Zuma is just how the hell does he play for
Hard-headed
Chelsea?
and deaf, bro.
Listen,
Think
He
about
is
it now. on the real,
hard-headed and deaf.
How does Zuma play for Chelsea? Aspie's finished. Zuma plays Chelsea. Christensen, I heard he's engaged to somebody's wife or something in the Chelsea boardroom or something. He shouldn't be playing.
Nepotism.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm not even joking. Reece James is young. I don't know who
Alonso's
your
a
left backs
winger.
are anymore. I'm telling
Listen.
you guys' defense is awful. It's
So,
just it's all. And the thing is,
I've
no,
got-
wait.
Go
And
on.
the Chelsea, obviously Kepa, he's awful as well. He's 75 million, and that's a waste of money.
Bro.
If when you talk about Maguire and all these big names, all you talk about is the
75
fee.
for a goalkeeper
Kepa
is-
was a world record fee for a goalkeeper.
Facts.
He was bought for the price you'll buy a striker, and he's stunk.
and the thing is,
He's
the way
their record
the way-
transfer,
the way
bro.
I-
He's
the
their
way- the way
record
I look at it
transfer.
is, you got to remember, yeah, there were really, really good goalkeepers out. Like, I'm not saying 75 gets you an Oblak, but how much did Alisson go for?
boy.
You get me?
Not
So
even
to
that,
put-
yeah. I'll be real with you.
so
And
to
even
put-
even
so-
like you
so-
were
so
saying, with the
Alisson's-
tinkering of the stats of the
I mean,
formations as well. Yeah.
Jorge, and the thing
Where's Tomori gone all of a sudden?
I
'Cause
don't
he was
know.
on
Why
good
did he
form,
get
big
Why
right?
has he dropped
Yeah,
tomorrow?
Why has he dropped
I don't
Tomori?
know. I don't know what he's doing there. But my thing is, right, you cannot play. Last year, Sarri came out and he said he doesn't play Christensen because when it comes to the big games, he always gets a bellyache. That's telling for me.
Soft,
I looked
man.
at the,
Look
I looked at the
his
stats
build.
yesterday, yeah, and I think out of 23 aerial duels, he won 0. So a
Bro,
man is
how many
doing
did Zuma win? How
plyometrics.
many did Zuma win?
Zuma won a few.
Probably,
Because you know
it's
why
probably
I'm
the
talking
only
about
thing he's
Zuma,
won.
yeah? Because Chelsea fans love Zuma. They loved Zuma.
Oh.
So I don't want to hear a change of anything. Chelsea fans loved Zuma, yeah? And now all of a sudden they're changing their tone on him. You guys liked him.
But
fam.
you loved Oli.
You guys liked
Yes,
Zuma.
you
Yeah,
loved
but-
Oli.
but they haven't conceded
Cam,
that Zuma's
Cam,
not it.
Cam.
That's the thing. Concede that Zuma
let me
is
have-
not
let me
it.
have a
Because
conversation.
as I said
Cam.
to you, man, in about
Cam.
15 years, Zuma's going to be a pub quiz, mate. It's going to be a pub quiz question. It's going to be like, who am I? I've played with Drogba. I've played with Bogba. I've played with this person. Who am I? Guess I played with
I wanna
Charlie
FA Cup.
Adam. Who am I? That's who he's. That's what he's gonna. He shouldn't be playing with. He shouldn't be playing at
Them man
Chelsea.
there.
Yes,
Did
they
you
looked
see
at
him
the
yesterday? He's
fence.
booting the
Bro,
ball in the air and
listen.
it like some clown.
My
mate.
thing is, right,
What's
Absolute
going on, man?
horrible
That's
player.
calamity.
if you look at
Last
players,
week
right,
he said that was one of their best players.
Best
I
players.
said he's, you man, you
Now
knew
they-
what I was saying. He was one of our best performers. Come on, man, don't do that. Don't do that, bruv. Man,
Hey, words
no, we
came out
haven't
of your
talked about
mouth.
Spurs. You man get
The
slapped
thing
up
is,
this
no,
too.
but at the same time,
Let me go in quickly. In terms of Zuma, right, you have to call it is for what it is, right? He's not of that quality or ilk to be playing at this standard of a club. And let's call it what it is. He's one of those players, right? If you notice, when Chelsea are playing well, it's fine. The second it's on top, he goes back to his default, of which is skanking
Spastic.
and kicking the ball everywhere. I told you what. You know what I told you about him kicking the ball and it bobbling. You know when you go to academies now, yeah, they have to do that before training. The ball has to go. The ball has to do this. When it's Zuma, it's no. I can't have that.
Yeah, but then
I can't have you-
Lampard's got to set his team
No,
up to
100%.
say, listen, from the back, we're gonna
Listen,
play percentages.
listen.
We're gonna play percentages.
Do you remember?
And then when
do
it
you remember the
drops,
start of the
we'll play
season
from
as well? He
there.
was playing the 3 at the back,
Yeah.
where it was actually working in some of the games. I felt, but then all of a sudden now he's gone to this
Listen, my thing is,
4-2-3-1.
right-
Mount has come back in and completely been off form. Like Kovacic has
But-
played
but- but-
brilliantly. Kante is doing well. And then you've got Jorginho, who's been key to your side this season, and you're bringing him Mount back in. For what?
But wait, who was Chelsea's
And then
who was Chelsea's-
Hudson-Odoi.
who
Let
was
me not even
Chelsea's-
get started.
Who was Chelsea's men? Yeah, at the start of the season when it was going well, it was Tomori
Tammy,
that they were hyping.
yeah, Tomori, Tammy, and Mount.
right?
And
So
then Mount comes up
what
and scored.
happened? No. As soon as Kante came back, what did Lampard do? He
dropped
took
Mount.
Mount out of the team, and from then Mount has been bumming it. Why did he take him out of the team? Mount was on
Listen,
form. So these are decisions that Lampard's made. He's dropped Tomori. These are decisions that Lampard's made.
Too
that's
much
not working
tinkering.
out.
Do you know
Think
what
that-
he has to
thinking
do?
you're
My
slick.
thing is, yeah, in football, football's
I'm
all
just
about
saying.
I didn't even hear what you said. What you said?
football. Too much tinkering and
Thinking
trying
he's
to
slick,
stick.
but
Football
it
is all
ain't
about
working.
fundamentals. You have to do the basics properly. And the thing is, I get trying to do this and that, but if you have one defender who, and the thing is, Lampard should know better, right? He's played against Everton his whole career, scored loads of goals. He's seen Duncan Ferguson. You already know what time it is when you see
Classic
Calvert-Lewin
Duncan
starting.
Ferguson.
This is WWE football. There's no flair. Marcus
effort,
Silva's
just-
out the window.
But
This
ain't
is
that what Zuma's
WWE.
there for?
But this is the thing. You've got one guy.
Ain't he
that's
meant to be
irrational.
at least
No,
physically imposing?
But Cam, this is what I'm saying. You've got one guy here that's brash, and you've got the other guy that cannot win challenges. That goal that they scored was pathetic.
Bro,
Pathetic
I will
stuff.
say as well, Everton were playing on that new manager.
No, 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 no.
Don't get it
No,
It was
twisted.
gonna happen.
They were-
It
they-
was
it was
happen.
gonna happen,
Big
I
Dunk.
get it.
You know who
But
Duncan
it-
Ferguson is, bro?
Listen,
Man,
I
man,
knew
man,
it
you
straight
know
away.
who Duncan Ferguson
Bro,
is.
you see Richarlison's goal? That was a Duncan Ferguson goal.
No, no, but Richarlison's been scoring goals like that for a while
Listen.
now. The cross comes in, he scores. He's been getting Richarlison's a bad boy. Richarlison's
When
a
is-
bad-
when
but
is-
listen,
when
sorry, bro,
is-
just in terms of that, right? You should know, yeah, that basics. I've got two defenders that are known for being shaky. Let me give you a bit of protection. Kovacic is playing so well. You can't expect him to do all of that and then start defending them.
Yeah.
If you want someone to defend them, tell Kante, listen, let's go back to basics. Help these men out. It's small
Kante likes
things.
going
And
forward
we've
too
got a
much
massive game midweek, you know, because remember the last time Oshmin butt Aspie, he spun him out of his loafers, spun him out of his clocks.
Listen,
He better pick the right
I've
team
seen,
midweek.
I've seen
'cause boy,
managers at Chelsea get sacked for less. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, I mean, I wouldn't start talking about.
I wouldn't
like,
call it that.
I've
I wouldn't
seen
call it
managers
that.
at Chelsea
But
get
remember,
sacked for
remember
less.
when we first spoke about the Lampard thing, and I said Lampard's going to play a good style of football. He get top form and whatnot. But what I'm scared
Well,
about
top
for
four
him,
looking a bit. Yo,
But
Listen,
this-
by
this
New
is-
Year's they could be at the Champions League, and United could have caught up to them top four.
if Chelsea
But
bounce
listen-
out the Champions League, they'll find a replacement.
No,
in
but
summer
listen,
for
but
that
let's
one.
call it what it is, though. Let's call it is like what you said. This is a spell. What he has to do now is make sure he goes back to basics and gets out of this spell. Because boy,
But where's Hudson?
January
though?
opens
Where's
up, though.
Where's Cho?
Nah, listen, I'll
When
be
is
He's
Cho
honest.
not-
gonna start doing
no,
anything
what
this
La-
season?
no, what
Because
Lampard said-
He's
did you hear
playing
what-
for England.
did you hear what
Cho's
Lampard
getting
said?
called up for England.
Did you hear what
I
Lampard
haven't
said?
seen him do a thing
How?
for
Did
you
Chelsea
hear
this
what-
season.
No, but that's not Lampard. So what Lampard said on Hudson-Odoi.
Did you see when he came on off the bench?
Horrible.
Well, why did he come on?
He was
Horrible.
smelling.
He
Why did he come
smells.
on?
He was smelling. But what Lampard has to stick to his guns now. If you're saying that you're not going to be playing someone because they're not right or they're coming back and whatnot, I shouldn't see him on the bench.
Why give him 200 grand a week?
They obviously.
I just want to ask someone at Chelsea that.
He's
question.
on 180. Why are you
180,
you inflate numbers?
180.
Same thing.
180.
All I can say-
Still
Hey,
mad.
but
all I
they
can say-
say
18
180,
appearances.
but they questioned Rashford getting
For me-
220.
Listen, he's
That's
earned
a
his
disgrace.
paycheck
For
right
me,
now.
That's a
it's
disgrace.
mad. For me, it's
Cho?
mad.
Come
And
on.
what happens is, you see the pressure and everything that's coming in now. That's what's gonna happen. Because if you've not played a lot of games and you're getting that money, anytime you come on the pitch, you are expected to
do
show
something, yeah.
why you're earning that much a week.
As it stands, he should be nowhere near the England team, mate.
100%. But you know what he said about Rashford coming of age? Hudson-Odoi not even playing, but he has to wake up. Because boy, listen, you understand?
time's coming fast.
Everyone's.
You know where you know JS7 is loading up in Dortment. You know, if he
listen.
comes to
Listen,
Chelsea, Sancho's
transfer ban
dusty.
lifted now.
Dusty.
Listen, the ban
Transfer
lifted.
ban
And
lifted.
that's half
Man,
our
them need to
question.
stop
That's half a
panicking.
question. I wanted to ask you guys. 'cause you lot
Pulisic
seen
is
that thing.
around the same age. This is your direct competition, and he's smoking you right now. You
In
gotta
terms
gotta
of
step it
in
up.
terms of Chelsea, I definitely say we need a centre back. The centre back I want, honestly, is always injured. That's the problem. Jimenez. I
Why
think
would
Jimenez
you leave
Yeah,
Atletico
I
Madrid
think-
to go
He
Chelsea
signed like
right
a
now?
7-year
much
deal
FIFA.
like
No,
last
no,
year.
but
man.
hear what I'm
too
saying.
much
No,
FIFA.
that's what I'm saying. I
Jimenez
said-
can't be
I said
bought,
If I had
bro.
to pick one,
Yeah.
if I had to pick one, I reckon Jimenez would be perfect. But one, he's
Okay,
got
mate,
bigger.
you gotta start looking at
He
that.
just
market.
signed
what I
a
was gonna say.
6-year
You
deal.
gotta
Nathan
start looking at that
Ake
market.
last
Jimenez
season.
is way out of your range.
Just signed a
Nathan
6-year deal. He
Ake
can't be
is
signed.
more
Nathan
real.
Ake-
Nathan Ake and Chilwell. is
Mate,
what
you
you
start
lot
looking at Lewis Dunk and that.
Nathan,
I'm being so serious.
bro, what?
bro.
Johnny Evans. Johnny
Start
Evans
looking
is
at-
seven.
bro,
Johnny Evans
Hey,
is
where
seven.
did you get Cahill from?
No, 100%.
Listen,
No, I heard that.
How's Cahill
Cahill-
looking this season?
Solid.
Solid.
Amazing.
Like,
Solid.
Lewis
Amazing.
Dunk,
Solid.
you lot could easily
And the
turn
thing
him
is,
into that
you
type
have,
of
what, you
player.
have to, what you have to remember is, you see about centre halves here, you see in the Premier League here, sometimes, let's be real, you just need someone that's going to
Win
the
headers.
win the aerial threat.
Yeah.
If you've got someone like Jorginho, you don't need to be passing. Just give the ball to Jorginho to
Simple.
dictate
Bro,
play.
Lewis
All I
Dunk
need
starts for Chelsea.
Listen,
He starts for Chelsea.
100%.
All right.
100%.
As long as you know.
100. Right now, he does. Because,
As long as you know, that's what I'm saying.
can he win?
Kai, they'll frown at it,
No,
but he starts
No,
for
but
them.
let's talk about facts. So this is what we do here. We speak facts. Will he win the challenges?
Yeah, he will.
Will he put 90%?
So don't think about Jimenez. Think about Dunk. Bro,
At least
Dunk,
say-
get
say
real.
his name properly.
Dunk,
Say his name
get
properly.
real, bro.
Dunk.
Wait,
Does
Dunk-
Evans
Dunk-
Evans start for you now? Because I heard that today.
Dunk
That's what
40
Sula
mil.
said.
Dunk 40 mil. Take him.
Light work.
Take him.
Light work.
What else are you gonna? You have to spend that money. Dunk
If you're
40 mil.
if you're
Take
Ake,
him.
do you come back to Chelsea after everything?
If I'm Ake, he's not even good enough to pay for Chelsea anyway. So, but he's not good enough. He's better than what you lot have. Maybe,
I
but
think
he's
he's
not
good
that great. He's not that
They
great.
saying that 'cause you're a
He
Dutch
needs,
fan.
he needs a club like that to take him to the next level, I think.
So what?
Again,
How much
he
are
needs to move
Chelsea
like
going to
that.
spend to Ake?
Why don't Ake go to
60,
Spurs then?
60,
I'll
70
take
million?
him.
Tell you what,
All day.
our second,
I'll take him at
second
Spurs.
is Leicester, right? Or 8-game streak, right? Winning, right? Rodgers has signed a long deal. What necessarily? I know what's it called? Yeah, Chelsea, big club, why not London? But what actually takes Chilwell away from Leicester?
impossible.
Let's be realistic.
If
In
they get
January,
if
in January,
No, but
it's
that's what I'm saying.
impossible.
Oh,
That's
in
what I'm-
January,
this is what
that's
I'm saying.
impossible.
But
It's
even,
impossible.
but even in summer, if they go on and get Champions League and whatnot, and Rodgers says, you know, I want to push on. Bear in mind, look at their midfield three, and he says, you know, I'm going to make more signings. What actually gets him away?
I don't think that midfield three stays intact for too much longer, because Ndidi is so underrated. He's ridiculously good, like in terms of defensive
job.
number
He's
six.
one of the best in what he
He's
does.
It's like
incredible.
Wan-Bissaka
I saw
in his
stats. I
division.
think he leads like in Europe. He was leading
Tackles
in
and
tackles.
repossessions.
Like, come on,
Yeah.
like,
on the ball, he's a
so-
little bit shaky.
Yeah,
But you
but
don't need
but
him
you don't
too
need him
much.
to be. He
You
could
don't
just
need
get
him
it and
too
give it
much.
to
If
Madison.
you've got ballers like
Yeah,
that.
100%.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
So
And
the issue that Chelsea
and he's one of the
have,
main
yeah,
reasons why they have the best defensive record in
100%.
But I
But-
don't think that free stays.
No, I hear you. So you think if someone starts moving, then it's likely you can start cherry picking players.
I think Madison, and I said this 4 months ago when I was
Yeah,
here. I reckon next summer there's going to be a couple clubs going in. for
Listen,
him. I think
Madison's
United's gonna go
been
for
one
him.
of
I
my
think
guys from early,
Liverpool
man,
could do with
still.
him. So a few teams are going to go in
Real
for Madison.
Coventry general.
And so in the summer, I think Chilwell isn't an impossibility, but I think you lot would have competition with Man City, because I think they've sort of given up on.
Remember
on
when
the
I
boy
said?
Mendy.
Remember when
And
I
I
said
can see
Chilwell
Pep
would
going
start
in
for
for
City?
yeah.
For sure.
Hey, do you man them remember when I said Chilwell would start for
Why
City?
are your hands in your hips?
Nah,
like
hold
some
on,
bad
hold
dude?
on, hold on.
How's that? How's that this?
That's a
What
great.
did you
I'm
say?
so
What
happy
did
you
you say?
brought that up.
What did you say?
You
When
remember
said
when
Chilwell
I
start
said
for City.
Chilwell would start for City and you man laughed at me?
I didn't
You
laugh.
guys
I didn't laugh.
laughed it
I
out.
didn't laugh,
He'll
yeah.
start over Mendy. He'll start over Mendy.
I didn't laugh.
Apologise. Hey, you apologise to me.
For what?
Apologise to me.
For what?
Would Chilwell start for City?
Yeah, he would.
Thank you. Hey,
Listen.
I shoot 87%. I shoot 80%.
You're a clown.
Hey,
Listen,
alright,
form.
come on.
Listen,
Form.
on the
Stop
one,
it,
You're looking
fam.
at form right
I'm
now.
not
I
really-
see things
I'm not
before you,
saying.
mate. That's
Whatever,
all it
mate.
is.
the biggest issue that Chelsea are going to have now is similar to what kind of United had in terms of we're going to get charged a premium for players we want. We're going to get charged
Yeah.
premium for players. And the thing is, honest, right? I know you're critical on Abraham in the big games, and I'm somewhat too. But at the end of the day, if I look at Chelsea this season,
What was he yesterday as well?
the 2 chances he got, he got there, but unfortunate for not to get them in. I mean, the game is the game. But think about Chelsea, right? James puts balls
the
in.
game now, yeah.
James puts balls in, yeah. James puts balls in.
Remember when
It's
he had
not working.
7 goals and Rash had 4? Now it's 10 and 11. Say no more.
What do you mean?
Rash has closed the
top
gap on
5.
it, but to 1 goal.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
The
don't
season ain't
sleep.
over.
I'm just saying, don't sleep.
I don't think
That's
anyone's
it, that's what I'm
sleeping.
Who do you
saying,
think
don't sleep.
finishes with most goals out of those two?
But he's a winger. Don't forget, Rash is the winger, crashing the big boys. Tammy's a striker, crashing small little teams. There's a difference there.
He gets more goals.
If Tammy doesn't score more goals than Rashford, he should be ashamed of himself. Let's
Why
be
do you say
real.
that?
So
Because
should we
he's a
start
starting
comparing Rashford to Salah
striker
Mane?
every single week for Chelsea,
good
who
point.
create far more chances than Manchester United as well. And he had a big head start on Rashford. If he doesn't score more goals after everyone's been gassing it up, oh yeah, Tammy's
But that's
better,
like saying
he has to
Aguero
score
when
more
Aguero
goals.
gets injured and comes back. I don't.
He has
what-
to score more goals than Rashford this season.
But on what premise?
What do you mean on what? I just told you. He's a striker for Chelsea who create more chances every single week than Man United, are a better team than Man United. And he's paying as a 9, 90 minutes every single week.
But you could
He
say
has to
Rashford's
deliver.
playing as a forward, so he
He's
gets
playing
to
as a
move
winger.
up.
He's playing as a winger.
He's
He
playing
has
as
to
a
deliver.
forward. Don't do that.
What do you mean don't do that? He's a
He's
striker.
playing as a forward.
You don't try and
So what
divert
we're gonna
from
say
it.
what?
Hey,
Salah's
no,
just
it was
a
all
winger.
good.
I
No,
was
before.
gonna say-
Hey, listen. No,
No,
don't
Pam, I'm having a
divert from it.
conversation.
No,
I'm having a
because
conversation.
no,
Let's have
don't
a
divert
conversation.
from it because when
Okay,
Rashford,
you
don't
take-
divert from it because when
No.
because when Rashford was scoring only his 4 goals or whatever, it was all good to be shitting on Rashford for Tammy. Now that Rashford,
did-
wait,
who
wait,
did
wait,
shit?
wait,
Who
bro,
did the
wait.
shit?
Now that
Look
Rashford has closed the gap. Don't start asking me why should he score more goals
No,
than
I'm-
Rashford? No, you score more goals than Rashford. I'm sorry, that's what you lot were saying. Oh, he's scoring more goals.
Who
Oh,
said this? Who said this?
Fam, when you man was saying, remember when
said
I
this?
came on here, yeah, and I said that Tammy's not gonna go to the Euros, and when he was scoring goals, you man will come with energy like, oh, I thought you said he's not gonna go to Euro. You were gassed because he's scoring.
No, but what did I
now
say
don't
to you?
try and start
No,
acting
what did
like-
I-
Wasn't
You
the thing?
said-
Wasn't
tell
the
me
thing
you
that
lied.
Tammy's
No, what
gonna
did-
bench
what
Rashford
did
for
I-
England?
No, I
Don't
didn't-
switch the
I
tone,
didn't say
bro.
that.
Don't
I
switch the
didn't
tone.
say that.
Don't-
You man lied.
We
I didn't
did
say
say
that.
that. We did.
I
Don't
said-
switch the
I didn't-
tone.
I didn't say he's gonna
Don't
bench
say
him.
that.
I didn't say he's gonna bench him.
Now-
I
now
said-
it's changing.
You
Let's
said-
switch the
You
tone.
said no.
But
He
the thing
said
is-
he said Tammy's not going to the Euros, and I said we'll see.
Tammy should
You were
outscore.
saying for
Tammy
Rashford,
should
Man, like to
outscore
lie.
Rashi.
You like to
Tammy
lie.
should. Tammy should outscore
Thank
Rashi
you.
by the
Don't
end of the
make it
season.
like he shouldn't.
And
He
what? And
should.
I'm asking on
like-
what premise? Because
I
he's a
just
centre
told
forward.
Because I
you.
think he's a natural
That's
centre
fine, that's
forward.
what I'm asking.
Now, mind you,
And
why is man
Rashford,
so defensive?
like we said, is having his evolution season as well. He's now 4-5 years in.
Yeah.
He should also be putting up his best numbers
Which
this
he's
year.
doing.
Which he's doing,
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
So if he does outscore Tammy, but we also got to take into account this is Tammy's first season,
Second
a big year
season.
for
Why do people forget
What,
that he drowned at
championship?
Swansea?
Oh,
Why do people forget he was at Swansea and drowned?
It
Let's
was the
young,
year that
bruv. I
gets
don't know why it was
blacked
his,
out.
it's his first season. It's not his first season.
Let me
That
get
guy's
you,
not playing
no,
his
no,
football, bro.
that's now, because now it's
Why do
confusing
people
as well.
talk? Why do
I
people
can't lie.
talk? Why do people talk? Why do people talk like Tammy is Mason Greenwood or something?
'Cause people
the guy is
forget-
an established, experienced pro. He played for Swansea. He did his thing. He played for Swansea. Didn't do well. He scored about 70 goals in the Championship. He's an experienced pro. Stop talking like Tammy's some new boy on the scene. He's not. He's not.
No, people do that
He's
a lot.
not.
People do a lot. And you know when I realized it's when people forgot
At an
that
elite club.
Tammy's a month older than Rashford. That's when I realized
an
that
elite
people
club,
were.
I'm saying.
That's when I
And
realized
elite
that
club.
people
elite
were.
club.
Look at Chelsea. What do we always talk about Chelsea? They're weak defensively, but offensively, they're so good going forward. They create all these chances, blah, blah. There's no excuse, bro. Tammy better outscore Rashford. For all the energy that people have been giving, Tammy better outscore him. That's what I'm saying. And he better start scoring in the big games as well. Don't
What
be
happens
doing
if-
all these little game goals, bro.
What happens if you don't?
Energy.
What happens if you don't?
What happens if you don't? Facts.
All I'm saying anyway,
What
I know
happens if you
Rashford
don't?
is starting at the Euros and Tammy's not anyway, regardless. So I'm
Who's
sorry,
Ra-
lads.
who-
I'm sorry,
question.
lads.
Since you said that, who's Rashford getting ahead of?
Rashford's going to start on the left. Sancho's going to be on the bench. You want to bet? Sterling will be on the right.
Alright, cool.
You want to bet?
Nah, listen, you said it.
I'm just saying.
You said it.
just saying.
Like
But
you said,
on your
foresight.
point,
seven
on your
on the bench.
sorry, before we
Channel the
before
third
we
eye.
go forward, there's something that we need to mention. Vardy is now scored in
16.
no, he's on 15.
Is it 15?
He's on 15
He's
now.
on 15. He scored how many games? 8
8
games
in
on
a
the
row.
bounce.
His record's 11.
England have to beg him.
Bro,
They have to beg him. There's 4.
if England beg him,
Fill up Harry Kane's Lucas age.
that's the only thing.
That's the thing. He doesn't want
That's
to. He
the
doesn't want to
thing.
go to
That's the thing.
just be
Right.
second
No,
fiddle.
but
Kane's
hold
only
on,
second.
what? No,
He
but-
doesn't want to do that.
Like Harry Kane's
no,
boots.
but I'm saying that Vardy has
on.
to be there at least.
Then if he's there, it's at
Because
the
the thing
expense
is,
of who?
you man,
retired,
no, but
so
no,
we don't have to sit on the bench.
Yeah, but what, you
Man,
man
I
are
gotta
telling
call him back to
you
sit
man
on
are
the
telling
bench.
no, but hear what I'm saying. You man are telling me about Trent's delivery and whatnot. Are you telling me Trent's delivery plus Vardy is not goals mania? Let's say you're in a game. You're in
It's
a game,
hard in
and
that
bear man,
international football.
Harry Kane, no, but hear what I'm saying. Bear man, Harry Kane does this whole
Brother.
thing. Harry Kane comes deep and whatnot, plays it through to Vardy.
Bro, I'll be real.
Vardy's goal
International
today is
football's
typical.
different.
You
Like
can't
you
play
said.
them both, though.
I
You
don't
can't
know
play
if
them both.
Vardy
No, but what I'm
can
saying is
translate what he
Vardy-
does for Leicester to international.
You see
though.
the goal?
he
No,
didn't-
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
think-
wait.
No,
know.
riddle me with this. People said he couldn't transform what he does at non-league football to Premier League. He's doing exactly the same thing.
I agree.
And
No,
also,
do you know what?
and also,
Come on,
the way
if you're a
England
goal
are
scorer,
playing,
you're a
though.
goal scorer. No, listen,
England are-
listen,
No, but
Van Dijk,
you
if
gotta
you're a
look
goal
at- you
scorer,
gotta
I hate
look
you,
at-
but if you're a goal scorer, you score goals. That is it.
Nah.
All his bread and butter is scoring goals.
Also,
this
I
is
don't
what the
think-
thing is. We're talking about strikes and whatnot. Listen,
You're
he scores
treating
goals. That's
also
it.
Vardy like
Vardy's
he's
probably better
Suarez.
suited.
No,
Vardy's
come on.
probably better suited for England than Harry Kane.
No,
is.
but
if
The
we're
thing is,
thinking about-
Vardy.
Ask me this,
Listen,
does he score
you're
goals?
having side
He does.
conversations.
But
Li-
does he score goals?
With Vardy, yeah. Listen, with Vardy,
Where does he get
yeah.
in?
The way he plays,
No, I'm saying he's
yeah,
not doing
the
it
way
at
he
least.
plays. I get what Fuad is saying. Look, Vardy, I would take him. I'd beg him to come to Europe,
Yeah.
of course, because quality is quality,
100%.
and he's one of the best in the league, right?
Exactly.
As a striker. But the thing is, with the way England play, this is why I say about Henderson. This is why I say about all these things. The way England try and play, it is tough for the way Vardy plays because he'll have back to goal a lot. You know what I mean? Kane plays with his back to goal all the time. He can do that quite well. Vardy doesn't. He plays. You see the goal that he scored, the second goal, where
he likes
somebody
to run
kicks
in
over.
behind.
That
That's
goal
what he loves,
will
running in
never,
behind,
ever
into the
happen in
channels,
international
yeah.
football.
No.
Ever. Where
What
you're just
I'm-
going to be you and
One long
defender
ball
running.
over, yeah.
Of course, you're going to
Never,
start
never,
Kane
never.
on what.
So, but I
Kane's
will
your
take
captain.
him. I agree
That's
with
what I'm
that.
saying.
He's a
You
top-
have to take
He's
him.
a top striker. It's simple as that.
Bear in
But
mind, I didn't say he has to start.
It'll be
I said you
tough.
have to take it. That is all I said.
But that's the thing.
Man,
He
them
doesn't
lads-
want to go to
because
for
he
that
won't
reason.
start.
Exactly.
He's
That's why
retired
he retired.
specifically because he won't
Listen,
start.
man.
And now you're saying
No, but
just
this
put
goes-
him on the bench.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
squad.
That's
This
the thing.
goes back to
He's
what I
like,
said.
nah, I'm
You
trying to
have
deal
to
with the fam.
you have to
It's
beg
true.
him.
Rebecca
You have to
Vardy
beg
and them
Bro,
things
she's
What,
out
so
here
she
trying to
can
get her
start
tweets
sending
off.
messages?
there. You got to monitor her now.
Listen,
You got to monitor what she's
spoke
doing,
about
bro.
ball and
Real
whatnot.
Real
Man,
talk.
listen, all I'm gonna say is we spoke about ball and whatnot, but listen, it's time. Listen, that's why I'm in my attire today. Listen, we're back. We're back.
The boy AJ restored the
His
feeling.
name is not AJ. His name's Femi. We're back. We're back.
Oluwafemi.
What you thought these Mexicans couldn't? No, let me not even start, man. We're back. Undo the zips, my
I
brother.
ain't even prepared, man. Look at this. Sloppy. You see, uncultured brother.
Hey, let me come back.
Listen, we ain't got much time, but listen, it's stoppage time. We talk about football and whatnot, but at the end of the day, listen, this is a massive sporting event.
No longer vamos campeón.
Yep, credit where credit's due. Sometimes you have to go to the fundamentals, and he did it. Dr. Jab, keep him at bay, win on points, get your belts back, because that's what it's all about. A lot of respect to him for doing it, but listen,
Hey, film that, please.
respect to
The
but
struggle is so
respect
real.
where it's due, man. I think he stuck to his game plan and he held out. We spoke in a group chat afterwards. The point you raised is exactly it. I don't think you can go straight to Wilder after that.
Look, I love
Bro,
Anthony
you
Joshua,
can't.
yeah. I was, bro, if he had lost yesterday, I would have been depressed. But
It's not even that.
please,
Yeah. It's like
AJ, stay
I'm
away
sorry.
from Wilder.
He
please.
done well and done brilliant to come back and all that, yeah. But please just take into account, mate, he came in so heavy,
Yeah.
undertrained. Like, this is how the first fight should have gone. Let's be real. So
But
credit
the
where
reason-
credit is due. Don't get me wrong, but to beat Fury, Wilder, like to step it up now, I don't think.
But this is
I'm not
where-
sure he's got it in his
No,
locker.
if
yeah,
you look
I'll
at
be
the, if
honest
you
with
look at the fight, what I have to give him respect for is because what he's done is the equivalent of when you change your philosophy completely in football.
Yeah.
His
wanted
knockout
to
percentage
school him
before
in
that
this-
fight was
in this fight,
91%. There's only one of his fights that's gone the full distance. You know that? He's so used to fighting or not boxing.
And flashes of that came out throughout the
Flashes
fight where
of
he
that.
sort of.
And that's why Andy
and then
Lay
he'd
got
get
him.
caught.
Go, yeah.
And that's why Andy Lay got him. So he's gone from being, you know what, I have to be a boxer. I can't be a fighter.
Yeah.
When you go and do that to someone that's the same height as you, it's got the same reach as you,
Yeah.
you have
It's
to be
a lot
very
harder.
disciplined.
Yeah.
Because the second you forget to try and jab and keep your distance, I'm so sorry. Wilder's
just come
sending
in.
you
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
sending you back to Lasgidi. You're going to see
Right,
your uncles.
right,
and that.
fam.
You're going back to Surulere. You're going back. You know when he said he went back to, he's going back to the Mac Fatherland. Femi Kuti and that will be playing
Hey,
in the background.
reconnect with the soil, you
Real
know.
talk. You know when he said
That's
it had to
it.
fit the soul.
Bro.
Your whole body, your whole corpse is gonna
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
No
yeah.
vibranium things. When
For real.
Listen, so
Nah, real talk.
he has. I think in terms of the WBC belt as well, he's not ranked that highly, so he has to probably do another fight.
He's got to
U6
fight Usyk.
U6
next,
mandatory.
with
I think he's
180 days
He's
or
gonna
something.
vacate it. He's gonna vacate it apparently.
But the thing is, he wants.
He's not gonna do it. He's gonna fight.
The thing is, you wouldn't want to vacate if you want to use.
Boy, listen, Usyk is a problem. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
U6 is he's a boxer.
boxer.
He's a boxer,
He's a boxer.
and he's a cruiserweight. He's a cruiserweight. He's nimble. So my thing is,
Listen,
Joshua.
if AJ, he shouldn't be losing to cruiserweights.
No,
He
no,
should
but
bang his
it's-
block off, mate.
But this is the thing. You're saying that in terms of fighting.
What? If you
That's
lose
in
to a
terms of
cruiserweight,
fighting.
Bro,
brother,
Usyk
That's
is
in
different
terms of
class,
fighting.
man.
No, I'm sorry. Your
My thing
power
is-
should be too much.
I think. But remember, he's gone a lot smaller.
Bro, these
gone a lot
Ukrainian
You better
man
start eating that
eat
pound of
bricks
yam
for
then
breakfast,
and
bro.
Get back to your 18
So
stone, mate.
the issue with Joshua now is you have to decide what you want to do. I don't think the Dillian White domestic fight is going to be anywhere close because
He's an idiot.
the thing is, it's a good payday and whatnot. And it's good publicity.
We
but
want to
White
see
stop-
Wilder.
But
Word,
that's
word.
it.
That's the
100%.
only reason.
Running.
That's the reason why I wanted AJ.
Stop running.
I don't know if
The
he's
thing is-
running.
no,
I don't
no,
know
you
the
gotta
inside
remember,
and out.
promoters
I
are
don't
gonna
know the
make bread.
inside and out.
Promoters are always going
I'm
to
not
try and
trying to
make
hear
bread
it.
and whatnot.
Wilder has to be the next fight. End of.
Listen,
It
it
was
doesn't
big.
work like that. It
Apparently,
doesn't work
Wilder
like that.
Wilder's
Fury-
still got to fight Fury, right?
Wilder Fury is February.
Apparently, Wilder Fury is actually a trilogy. They're gonna fight again after they
Yeah.
fight for the
Right.
second
They
fight.
signed
Exactly.
it.
They're
And-
trying to milk this thing.
But
Yeah,
that's what I'm
they're
saying. It's
milking it
promoters'
differently.
game. You've got to remember that boxing is a crooked, dirty sport. Everyone's trying to break bread. Eventually, though, Joshua knows that he has to. If he wants to submit his legacy, because he's 2-time now,
Yeah.
he has to kind of go in with the best of the best. Eddie Hearn came out and said, you know what, you are the best heavyweight in the division. Joshua didn't say, no, I am. He was humble and whatnot. But you can't say that until you've actually fought them and said, you know what, I can
that's what
all
Carl
these guys.
Block said, didn't it?
There's one thing that's really telling for me, though. Fury actually told AJ how to fight this fight. He told him bit for bit how to do this.
The thing is, but like when you look at the way AJ fought, right? Yeah, like I appreciate what he done because obviously it's understandable because of
But you
how
wanted-
the
you wanted a
other
knockout.
fight. Not even about I wanted a knockout. Like obviously, you know, I get the whole sweet science and stuff, but I don't even think he even looked that good doing it. I don't think he can go and do what he did against Ruiz, against the Wilder, against the Fury. Fury,
Yeah, 'cause
I
the
reckon
reach- the
would
reach
school
distance
him.
not there.
Fury
Reach
was
distance
yeah,
Fury would
outbox
Fury
him.
would
Yeah.
can outbox him.
Yeah.
That is how Fury fights. That's his natural thing.
And-
AJ wasn't fighting naturally. He was
you-
fighting like, oh, I've got a tactic.
Do you
out
know
here.
what-
Game plan.
Wilder
100%.
with the I'm not too sure who's got a longer reach. Probably Wilder's got a longer reach than
Listen, Wilder's
how
got that vibranium
How
arm.
is AJ going to approach a fight like Wilder when Wilder's got a stronger punch? AJ probably hasn't fought anyone that's stronger than him. Like got a harder punch than him. Wilder's got a harder punch, a longer reach.
Taller as well, I think.
And
Yeah.
AJ's
Wilder's taller.
I don't think AJ's the greatest. Like I can jab. I wasn't that
No, he went
impressed.
back to-
He
and also-
won. I'm glad. Like controlled Ruiz. Ruiz came looking like a big burger. So what do you expect?
Do you know what?
It should have been.
You know,
You know what I mean?
you know
So-
what the issue is? The issue is as well, yeah. We're talking about boxing, right? Fury is one of those guys, yeah. He's a sick boxer, but I remember when he fought Klitschko, he was so unorthodox, yeah. Klitschko looked at him and said,
What do I do? with
What
this guy?
what do I do?
Yeah,
To who?
facts.
To
Fury.
Fury, he was
There's no
confused.
way.
yeah.
And it was the same thing with Wilder until round
Exactly.
12. He got that punch.
Punch,
Wilder
exactly.
didn't know what to do. Like
Exactly.
you can't hit
and
him.
the thing is,
He's so elusive.
when Wilder last fought Ortiz, I think Ortiz was probably winning because he was boxing and whatnot.
He
But
was
Wilder-
winning. He was
Wilder-
losing
and then
every
Wilder fought, listen, as soon as it opened, oh my.
Now, that's
Honestly,
the thing. Now, let me just say, right, the way I watched Anthony Joshua fight Andy Ruiz,
Yeah.
he looked tentative to me.
Yeah.
He looked, I don't want to use the word afraid, but he looked
But you
so
gotta overcome
reluctant.
that mental
thinking
block,
it.
though.
He looked so
thinking it. It's
reluctant
not
to
natural.
engage, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the size of Ruiz and you think to yourself, if you were to throw this guy in the ring with a
that's
Wilder
the same
and the
size
power
as-
that Wilder possesses,
Ooh.
you might actually genuinely see a dude who literally throws nothing
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
tries to just avoid
Honestly,
the whole fight.
I think Wilder would get Ruiz out of here in about
For
three,
sure.
In about three.
I
In
got,
about
I got
three
Wilder
rounds.
stopping
No, no.
Ruiz for sure.
There is the one thing is, yeah, I don't want to go too much in it because we're a football podcast. In terms of Ruiz, he flopped big time. His mentality was wrong and whatnot. But one thing, he can box. He's got hands. He is a boxer. He eats punches. I think a fit Ruiz who's actually dedicated to his craft and
He's
whatnot
an
is a
idiot.
much better fighter.
He's
But
an
for what
idiot.
he did, he's a big buffoon. A man said, does anyone want to see? No, bro. We don't want to see him on the third fight. Go back to Mexico. You got bigger
Word.
things to deal with now.
Fumbled
Fam,
the bag.
he was
He
talking
had
about
it.
his weight. Did he not realize he was putting on weight when he was doing bust downs and buying Lambos and
Frosty
Did
London.
he
you
realize
remember?
he was putting on
Frosty
weight?
London
Biggest
t-shirt.
fight
I
of
don't
your
get-
career. This is how you turn
And
up
he-
so
he actually
sloppy.
comes
Like,
in-
it's not even a thing where you've been a seasoned champion or whatever. Like this is your first defense of
Yeah.
the title, and this is how you
I
come
would
in.
say
And the
one
thing
made
is,
That's
I
the
saw
poorest thing.
actually-
And I was actually rooting for him to like
Wait,
come
underdog
up.
story.
Listen,
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah,
it, man.
man.
but
I saw
he
somebody.
just ate too much.
I saw somebody. I saw like on a post. I saw a post talking about his mentality, like questioning Ruiz's mentality, right? About obviously what Ruiz said and people were like defending Ruiz, talking about, oh, he took a fight. No, like as a champion, he disgraced himself. You went overweight. Is that your highest weight? Something in about 10 years.
Very
How you come
unprofessional.
overweight for a fight that you had 3
himself.
weeks training?
He embarrassed
for?
himself. His mentality should be questioned.
And it was almost embarrassing how he was kind of begging for the rematch in a post.
No, my
He's
thing
like, we're
was-
gonna do it 3 times.
Yeah.
No, you didn't
I
think you were
know,
gonna
but no
convince
one's trying to
yourself
hear
that.
that.
In that moment, he realized. For me,
He has
when-
to strike
yeah.
then, but you're not going to convince me to buy a third fight when in the second fight, the biggest one,
you convinced he got beat.
You don't, not even that I'm convinced he got beat. You didn't even take it seriously.
Listen,
You came in
all I
out
can
of
say
shape,
is-
heavier.
all I can say is,
it's ridiculous.
Black man can't fall again. What do you mean, bro? Listen,
Oh, Africa.
listen. On that note,
You need fucking
Champions
help,
League
I
football's
swear.
coming back. Everyone that had us in your top 5 Spotify podcast, God bless you. That's another episode. We're back again. Lots of one-to-ones to come out, so make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. Make sure you're following the Twitter and that.
SoundCloud.
Huh? Yeah, we're on SoundCloud,
Yeah.
but we don't, it's one of them things there. But listen, man, all of that stuff, man, we're out of here, man. Restore the
Jose.
feeling.
Jose, wait.
He's waving the Africa.
Hey, man, them.